Okay guys, welcome back to the channel. So 1200 or so videos into this thing. There's not many things we haven't done yet.
Agree.
We've dabbled in a lot of different experiments, explaining obviously some different club fitting philosophies and some options that we have here at TXG and other stores have, Matty Boy, but we haven't really dabbled too much into the Club Junkie's favourite.
Yes, the lead tape.
The lead tape. Something that is kind of widely debated. Most of our clients don't like the option of lead tape. They think it's kind of a bit ugly. The gearheads love it.
Yeah, I prefer to just have the iron built the way it
clean
and without it, but I can see why people get into it to tweak it to their preference.
Totally. I mean, you see some guys out there, Scott Piercy's irons, are hard to see what irons he's actually using because he's got so much lead tape on there. John Daly on the weekend, I think, had a 3-iron that was loaded with lead tape.
Yeah.
There's an Instagram account out there, that Lead Tape Chronicles.
I have heard of it,
for people to share their pictures of their own clubs with lead tape. So it is out there for some people. We keep it around here. We actually, more so before movable weight in driver was such a big thing.
Okay.
If we needed to hot melt a particular product, if we need to inject some resin in there to change the weighting profile, we would do it with this first non-permanent solution, and then we would hot melt it if we needed to. So what I want to dive into today is, what does it do?
Yeah. What
does it actually do? What does it add? If we look at the numbers here and we dissect it, adding weight doesn't come alone. There's things that happen to the shaft. The shaft typically softens. The more head weight that we add, we place more stress. The head is the dominant mass involved in the system, so it is likely to move and deflect the shaft. So what do we need to do? How much weight do we need to add before we really change that?
Yeah, makes sense.
So we've got a scale here. We've taken the measurement of the head weight you're going to use today, 260 grams.
Okay.
So we will change it by, you wouldn't really be adding more than 10 grams to it. So we'll add 10 grams, and then we'll see kind of before adding the lead tape, after adding the lead tape. We'll probably place some in the toe, maybe some in the heel.
Right.
Interesting, there's some companies now starting to come out with movable weight technology on irons.
Sure.
The Adele SMS definitely springs to mind on that one. We tested that and really liked it. So, again, as I think this is where club fitting's probably going to go with irons as well.
Yeah.
Interesting to see what difference that makes.
Sounds good.
Okay, let's start off with some stock 6s.
Solid.
Mm-hmm.
Two, just a little thin.
That was like a nice one.
That was solid.
All right, Matty, so standard weight numbers in the bank, 128.6 on the ball speed, launch and spin are in a good spot. Carry at 189. Let's see, get the club delivery. Path inside, face close to that, really nice for your little draw that you like to see. Dynamic lie angle's in a good spot. So really, dynamic is the key here, right?
Okay.
So dynamic loft, dynamic lie angle. We want to see if the weight changes those things.
Right.
Either from a feel perspective, potentially even changing your perception of where the club is. That can change the delivery for sure.
Yep.
And also the effects of the weight on the club itself.
Makes sense.
So let's up that head weight a little bit.
Okay.
All right, so we've taken our very nicely balanced 260 gram head, 125 gram shaft, 50 gram grip that came out to D3.5.
Nice range.
Added 10 grams of weight, and we're now in the D8 territory,
Right.
low D8s.
Right.
This should be enough to feel the difference, certainly.
Okay.
5 swing weight points as an increase is a lot.
Yeah.
What will be very interesting will be dynamically, do we see some changes on the club itself?
Yeah, so you may see lie changes, you may see, who knows?
Who knows? I mean,
knows?
even the placement of it, right? So
Yes.
if we look at where that is placed relative to the mass, it's in the upper part of the cavity. So is there a vertical CG change? Do we get a little bit of an increase in spin? Something that we could maybe, in a case like this, maybe we could do with a little bit of that.
It wouldn't be the worst thing, would
It wouldn't be the worst thing. So changing vertical gear effect through weight is another interesting point. So let's see if it does something or nothing.
Okay.
And obviously how you feel it as well, Matty.
Because part of it is the player has to react to it. A player might not react to it all that much and it may come out similar.
Yeah.
But other players react to it a ton and it makes all the difference.
Totally.
Yeah. Oh, that felt really good. You might have converted. Oh, go in.
Give me 10 grams in each head,
I know.
please.
I'd be a one-shot convert. It's kind of funny. These are both way better than I hit the other ones. Turn that a bit, but I think it's under control. I would take that from 190.
Are you feeling the difference?
The head feels a bit heavier. Impact feels a bit different. I don't know how I would describe it though. Impact does feel different. But to be honest, what I'm reacting a lot more to is just the quality of the strike and the face control. It kind of feels like I have better control of the face.
Yeah.
And the ball's coming out in a nice, maybe slightly higher window. I'm not sure.
Right.
But so far it would be I'm trying not to get too, I'm just trying to react to it
Totally.
as we do it. But I kind of feel like I can sit off and rhyme some pretty decent 6-irons one after another.
Yeah.
Nice. Really good. I think the best feeling in flying shots I've hit were, with the lead tape on, which I'm shocked to say because I'm not a lead tape connoisseur, as you know.
I mean, the numbers are strikingly similar,
Yeah,
right?
just a little tiny more ball speed.
Tiny bit more ball speed, probably what we would expect. Dynamic loft changes, dynamic lie changes, kind of all came out very, very, very similar. Decimal points, right? So, but in terms of what we thought being, the effect on the vertical gearing, we don't really see that as such. I think the rotational element is probably a bigger thing at play rather than the vertical gear effect. So the rotation of the golf club controlling the loft in rotation.
Okay.
Right, so ideally we would keep that face more left for longer.
Right.
To try and keep that spin up.
One thing I'll say is I think kind of it's an intangible thing because obviously the numbers are very similar, but to get the sample of shots that we wanted, it took me far fewer with the lead tape on.
Yeah,
I only
would
missed
say.
like one that you were kind of like, you hooked it a bit.
Yeah.
It took me far fewer shots to get it with the lead tape on. So maybe that's an indication that balance of the club or the way everything was reacting was maybe just a bit more suitable for me.
Totally.
I can see it, not always being, look, my numbers are crazy different when I put lead tape on, but it feels better to me. I'm more comfortable with it. I strike the ball a bit better, a bit more online, and you'd be happy with it.
Well, let's do something here. Let's take the weight. Let's take the 10 grams.
That felt really good. Actually, a pretty good shot. Really nice. Yeah, it's subtle, but as you said, the toe weighting of it maybe just keeps the face from turning over as fast.
So if we look at launch spin, speed, all again pretty good. Face angle is staying a little bit more left.
That's cool.
Strike was quite centered. I didn't expect it to dynamically do anything different, and that was really cool that it showed that it didn't.
Yeah.
That's what I think there was more.
Mental, I agree.
I think it was in the noodle. I think it was more just like, oh great, I've got something to help me protect it. Because if we look at, a driver, for example, and we've got, 26 grams in the back of a ping. And the head weighs, the raw shell weighs 200 grams, call it, plus sleeve. We are in the territory of, probably 11%, maybe 11, 12% at that point. Here we're in,
small,
the few percent. Yeah.
Subtle stuff.
Definitely.
Yeah, and I don't disagree that it could have just been, in my mind, Ian put weight in the toe. I should be able to hit draws that start left and don't over curve.
Yeah.
And it's the first time in the session I was able to hit a little bit more neutral draw. So, yeah, as you said, is the 10 grams enough to do that? I mean, subtly maybe a little tiny help.
Yeah.
But mentally the confidence maybe is there just to say, hey, I want to hit that shot and this will help me.
I mean, that's very, very cool to see that really that shaft is, and that's kind of what I'm looking at dynamically. What is the weight doing to the shaft? How is it pulling it?
Right.
It's not pulling it more outward, which it can. Heavier weight can pull, make the shaft kick outward.
Okay, which is good. In this case, we wouldn't have wanted that.
No, and also it's not making it. So as the shaft deflects and then obviously rebounds into kind of acceleration, lead ahead of the handle, then we would see that dynamic loft go up.
Right.
But again, not really seeing that either.
Just basically a 1-ish degree change in face angle management.
Yeah.
Pointed more left and gave me a straighter ball flight.
Exactly.
Nice.
The other point of this as well, when it comes to, if we think about weight, right, and we think about irons versus woods, when we change weight from one side of the head to the other, we're displacing weight. So you're not just putting weight in there and adding to the mass, you're taking it away from one side and you're shifting it around. That makes a much greater effect as well when you displace weight.
Versus just adding.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you're just moving it around the head. It makes quite a difference to that CG location. Talking to the guys at Ping, their CG adjuster and their track is about a 10 millimeter. I believe it's about 10 millimeters in movement in the CG
adjustment.
Yep. And
just
they've
a lot,
got
right?
Really heavy weight, the heaviest of all the weights that are out there that's on the shifter system. So yeah, big difference. So I think, does lead tape do anything? Feel for sure.
100%.
It does something to the feel. It does something to it. Then if feel is part of the experience of the player. Does it do something to the player? Very likely.
Very much so. It changes how you react to it. And I think the extra weight, we initially saw a little bit more ball speed out of it. That's feasible.
Yeah.
You might get a bit more pop out of a heavier head.
Totally.
But yeah, I can see how a really seasoned ball striker that wants to just barely fine tune a little bit of face angle or whatever it is would use this.
Would you do something like this?
I'm starting to see why people do it.
Yeah.
Would I do it to my own irons? We'll see. We'll see what that decision holds. But interesting enough for the test. I wasn't expecting to see much, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
So cool to see they did something.
Definitely. I mean, if we also look at where we've placed that there, just popped into my mind. I mean, if we look at where the shaping of the new modern irons is sort of going, probably something like this, right? If you look at where that weight is, it's kind of the mass is in that toe section, pushing there, offset the hosel weight, and then obviously stretching the mass in terms of an increase in the moment of inertia. So we've kind of done that with this as well. So you've kind of taken what is a player's iron in the 620 CB Lovely iron, and you've kind of made it higher MOI
Yeah, which is nice.
Which is also nice.
A little bit of help on off-center hits on a small iron like this would be a benefit.
Yeah,
for sure.
and you're certainly getting the feedback from that in terms of, okay, that felt really solid.
Mm-hmm.
You start to kind of get that as a positive reinforcement of how you're hitting it.
Yeah.
So all those little psychological wins are important as well.
Build some confidence, yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Okay, guys, I think one for the gearheads for sure. Some of you who like to tinker and play around with weight. We've got obviously weight systems like we talked about inside the woods now. Everyone's pretty much putting some form of a weight track adjustability, whether it's for swing weight or whether it's for actual movement of mass to relocate CG. We're seeing irons now do a little bit more of it. TaylorMade a while back had that I think it was like a either pentagon or hexagon shape, which was a little weight that sat in the back.
I remember that.
That was back maybe 8 or 9 years ago. Callaway are doing that right now. A bunch of other companies are putting that weight PXG right behind the mass. So that's been obviously done, but this movement of CG is going to be an interesting one to see if companies do that more. I think the interesting thing is with the weight of the iron, you actually have the ability to put more weight in there.
Yes.
Right. So you can put 12% of the weight and shift that around. Well, you should be able to make a decent size adjustment.
It'd be cool to see what happens the next 3-4 years with that.
Definitely. Okay, tinkerers out there, let us know. Do you use lead tape? What's it done for you? I'd love to know. This is a test that kind of dives into the dynamics of it a little bit, and what did we see with Matty? Great to be able to isolate the numbers the way we did here. Best contact came with the weight in the toe for Matt.
Interesting. Yeah.
Dynamic loft, as we said, pretty neutral, and dynamic lie angle is pretty neutral relative to the baseline numbers that we created. What we did see was a feeling that Matt had that he didn't have the head rotating quite as much, which is certainly a nice feeling to have.
It was awesome.
Definitely.
Good test.
Okay, guys, stay tuned for more. We will see you again soon.